Alright, hi. So yeah, I'm going to be doing some ESO. I actually haven't really touched Morrowind a whole deal. I've only done the opening hour or two of it, but I'm probably going to jump into the new stuff soon. Sorry, I'm just looking for quests I can get rid of.
By order of the Deputy Governor of Sedanine, which happens to be me, the lighthouse is closed until further notice. On the other hand, I seek an outlander who's willing to do a little work. I need someone without ties to the area to look into a matter for me. It seems the lighthouse was broken into. The flame was extinguished. As a result, a ship crashed along the shore. There were fewer bodies than expected, both living and dead. I suspect slavers were involved, which means they had help here in town. I find that unacceptable. Discover who doused the lamp fire. They'll lead us to the slavers. Question Downs, who was on duty that night. He's in the lighthouse. I need to check in with the overseer. His workers are searching the wreckage, and I want to know what they've uncovered. By the time we were alerted and had organized a response, precious moments had been lost. We rescued a few, but mostly we found those who had drowned or were crushed on the rocks. Even so, it was nowhere near the numbers a ship like that carries. It was just a typical scene ever since our agreement. Here, and in all of the territories controlled.
Alright, so I'm going to... basically, I just activated that quest as like part of, you know, giving me an extra reason to come back here. How do I access this again? Collections, stories, chapters, Somerset, there we go. There we are. Oh, so it's in Vivek City, which is not far from here. So yeah, this is Sedanine, which is the opening area of the original Morrowind, and it's not all that far from where the actual ESO Morrowind expansion starts. By the way, I know that there's a like a buzzing sound underneath my voice, but you know, hopefully you'll get over it. It wasn't completely unlistenable when I was listening to the test recording. Yeah, they made this region extremely pretty. Oh, there we go. So yeah, basically, my sort of reason for liking this is generally that it's like, what if Elder Scrolls had a proper combat system that was actually good? With like cooldowns and AoEs and stuff like that, and actually had like a proper feel to it. And that's what this is. Also, the other thing I like is that you can like, you know, you're not the only one going around stealing or killing people or whatever, like you are in the single-player games. And so that's a thing I quite like. Like, you can just look in the back, you can just sort of like be relaxing and then look in the background and seeing someone getting chased by the guards. am I? Wait, are these... Fuck. Right, sorry. This is the problem with ESO, actually, is that your active quests also appear with inactive quests, so I've now got to close that one down. What was that one I just activated? Speak to Philand. Oh yeah. So yeah, because you can only have 25 quests active at a time, it's easy to get your quest inventory filled up and then you can't do anything about it. Oh, is there an invisible wall over this? There we go. Yeah, it's an interesting system that this game runs on, because basically every sort of like expansion and stuff like that has like an inherent value to it, because I'll probably explain while the cutscene's happening, the loading screen. Because once you hit level 50, you can still get skill points from quests. So when you add an expansion, you're adding more quests, and therefore, you know, more. You can like level up more. It's sort of like, it doesn't raise the cap as far as I know, but it does allow you to put more skill points in things. That's basically how I treat it. I treat it as like a single player game where there are other people hanging around. I've not tried any dungeons so far, and I've had the game for what, 2 years? That's not to say I won't. I definitely will at some point, but it's just like getting up the confidence, because it doesn't have like clearly delineated classes so much. It's like, this is a class that has like tank abilities and also can heal, and there are subclasses, and it's all a bit
have
confusing.
you ever seen such creatures? Raz has not. Probably neither have you. You are a newcomer, yes? New to this island of high elves? This one has an eye for such things. And you look capable. So can Raz interest you in some cloak and dagger work? Ominous? No, nothing of the sort. Well, maybe a little of the sort. Depends on how things develop. Raz has come to Somerset at the behest of Queen Irene to make sure her decree regarding the opening of the island proceeds as she directed. Ask some questions, determine the mood in Summery, and see how the newcomers are faring. Rumors have reached the Queen, and she's concerned. So Razumdar comes to see what is happening and fight strange creatures. Now Raz is concerned as well. While you ask questions around the city, Raz can take care of some other business. It may or may not involve scratching and clawing. Let's meet near the entrance to Shimmerin when you have something to report. Raz never saw such monsters in his life. They appear related to water, but this one tends to avoid this stuff. That pearl, though, Raz swears it was calling those creatures. A mystery for another time, perhaps. Now, we need to see to the newcomers. As a matter of fact, Raz made a list. Old Newell, a high elf artisan, spoke out. See what she complained about. Then there's Soxolza, a persecuted Argonian newcomer. Finally, Ranuol, a city resident noted in the Divine Prosecution's observation mode. Old Newell complained about it. No. Raz doesn't want to prejudice your investigation.
Find your own patch of beach. Not that you'd understand the concept, but the path to Alaxon requires dedication and complete concentration. I must find the perfect shells, or my pigments will be substandard. And do you know what that will do to my art? An ultimate concept practiced widely here in Somerset. Alaxon is the state of perfection that every high elf strives for. The path to Alaxon represents the approach we take to achieve that state. Now, why have you interrupted my work? I believe in caution as much as the next high elf, but sometimes the rules get in the way of common sense. My apprentice lived here for more than a year. Good help is so hard to find, especially among the newcomers, and she was adept at making dyes. They took her away. Said they had to scrutinize her qualifications, test her knowledge of culture and etiquette. But I haven't seen her since. My work suffers, so of course I complained to the monks. Now I have to gather my own shells. They told me I could fill out some forms and appeal to the kin lady. But who has time for such bureaucracy? And for a wood elf? I've said too much. I have work to do, and all this aggravation has diverted my path to Alaxon. Perfection requires constant vigilance, so back to it.
seeking a sip of fine Russifeld Red? Prepare for disappointment.
So as you can see, I'm still only level 15. The level cap is 50, but they added an update a while ago, I think prior to Morrowind, called Tamriel Unbound or something like that. And the idea was that all encounters were like leveled down, so that you could basically just go anywhere and do anything. So they're sort of like leaning into what the game does best, and like leaning away from what MMOs feel necessary, feel sort of like required to do.
A newcomer in the warehouse district. Unusual, but how can I help you today, my friend? The Divine? Who told you that? If a Justiciar sent you to try and trick me into confessing... No, no. The High Elves would never send a newcomer to perform such a task. But I admit it, I made my thoughts known. I arranged to bring my cousin here to work with me. The ship arrived, but all the newcomers were carted away. For questioning, they said. I complained to the kin lady and anyone else who would listen. And what has it gotten me? Nothing! Oh, my family has been here for generations and generations. Before the Queen's decree, outsiders might have been rare, but we were not unheard of. Our business has grown and gets better every day. That's why I sent for my cousin. We need the help. Somerset is a rare and beautiful jewel in the Abetian Sea. I love it here. The High Elves treat us like children, but they have never been hostile. The Queen's decree has stirred the waters, though. I fear it will get worse before it gets better.
By the way, I keep forgetting I've got a mount.
This is unheard of. Why have you closed the monastery?
Good people, I hear your concerns.
Well, the workers I hired, they were aboard the ship from Rivenspire.
The kin lady and I, we have only your best interests in mind. Every guest must be sequestered while we ascertain their suitability for Ultima society.
The old Dark's right. Lock up the newcomers.
Send the newcomers back where they came from. We don't want them here.
Such anger. Raz never expected to hear such words from the Queen's loyal subjects. The sentiment isn't universal, but enough feel this way for Raz to be concerned. Did you learn anything interesting from the people I sent you to talk to? Sequestered? Just a different word for imprisoned, yes. Ranul's cousin just arrived, but O'Newell's assistant has lived on Somerset since long before the Queen ever issued her decree. What about the lizard? What did Zoxolza have to say? Why would the Aldar gather up newcomers and non-High Elf residents alike and send them to the monastery? Does the Kin Lady condone this behavior? Raz's head itches, and not in a good way. Our course is clear, Five Claw. We must go to the monastery. Raz admires your enthusiasm, but this one needs you to enter the monastery on your own. Raz has other fish to catch. This one will help you get past the sentry, though. When you notice that the sentry is distracted, just sleep quietly inside.
Hurry now. I've never known.
There seems to be someone nearby. I mean, this isn't where I'm meant to be, but I just thought I'd come in because, oh hey, don't mind me. I'll, leave, shall I? Do I? Do I dare? Right, I do like the idea of having an MMO where you can just like kill NPCs. I know they're going to spawn again later, but you know, still. Yeah, it seems I can't turn the text chat off, I don't think. Ah, there we go. Now my timeline becomes immaculate. See, I'm just really messing around. Let's see if there's anyone else to kill. By the way, if you're wondering why I'm actually killing these people, the answer is, well, I get experience for it. Glow sticks. Oh shit. Can I lean? I don't think I can lean from what I remember. They don't seem that miffed about their dead mates. I've been witnessed now, haven't I? basically I've got 2 different hotbars, and they're applied to whichever weapon you're carrying. So you can switch between 2 weapons, and that switches between your hotbars as well. So this one I've got a charge on it. But both of them share some abilities like this radial healing totem type thing. There we go. So I guess I should probably lay low until my bounty disappears. Should probably, but will I? Hey, was that a dagger I saw before me? Might have been. I don't remember, does it say anywhere about bounty skills? Never mind. See, I've got 2 weapons. I've got this like Zweihander type thing, and then I've got like an axe of frost and an axe of flame, which require a lot of charging, but they're very fun. Can I bring out my mountain here? No, won't let me. That would have been funny though. Come on, let me down. There we go. Now I think I can like slowly let my bounty run down a little bit, but I'll try and stay a bit hidden. Basically, guards can have like a radius to them. So this is the thing, is they take things that in ESO they've taken things that are like sort of part of ES, like the you know, the base experience, and then sort of like enshrined them as like proper mechanics. So let's find out where the hell this is trying to get me to go to. I went to the monastery. So were there any guards here? Their health bars appear like slightly different usually. Ah, there's a guard.
Lost in storm and spray, my star-eyed bride of Alenor, the cruel fate took away. White swan feathers fluttered from her eyes.
You will go no further. I need you to pay your bounty for your crimes, and because, you know, justice.
Oh, come on. Do you know what those masks look, those helmets look like? Sutak the Destroyer.
You made me raise my voice.
I didn't even... Oh, right. So, evidently you only have a... Problem is now that every one of the guards I murder is going to be like officially sort of witnessed, and therefore it's going to be harder for me to pay off my bounty if I keep going at it.
Mara, help me. Mara, help me find my son.
Apparently they can't see me over here. I'm not sure what it is I have to do to get my bounty to like start going down again. Maybe I have to get out of the area.
Sentry! Raz owes you for that game of cards and has come to pay.
Well, I don't recall any. You say I won some gold?
Don't you remember? Raz always pays his debts, and he always buys drinks.
Gold and drinks?
And with the gold, I can buy more drinks. There's an interesting sort of thematics going on here, and like parallels to horrific current situations.
No, not now, please. Your spiritual well-being can wait until after my nap. You'll have to ask one of the monks that the new Aldork brought with him. They deal with all the newcomer testing and evaluations. I'm just a simple monk trying to catch up on my sleep. That was a hint, by the way. Aldork Tilkala arrived right after the Queen issued her decree. He came highly recommended by King Lady Avanice, or so I heard. It's not unusual for monks to form attachments and move together, but there's something strange about that bunch. The Aldork and his monks keep to themselves. They've taken the Undercroft for their own purposes and ordered the rest of us to avoid the ancient vaults beneath the monastery. Now, please, let me get back to my nap. The monastery should be a place of peace and meditation. The Aldork has closed us down until further notice. That means if any of the monks spot you, they'll raise the alarm. Me? I never saw you. Now, if you don't mind, my nap awaits.
Okay, message got. Where's the cat? I can hear the cat, I can see them on the thing. Maybe I should Blade of Woe them. Should I Blade of Woe them? Shit. Who's looking at me? Yeah! Yeah, I'm not going to read all that. But thanks anyway. Thanks for the effort. Yeesh. Ah, there we are. There's the cat. Meow. Never mind.
Unusual knick-knack for an Aldark's office, wouldn't you agree? I noticed you skulking around while I was engaged in some skulking of my own. I suppose we both came to the monastery with a similar purpose in mind. The sequestered newcomers. I came to find out what happened to a friend. I assume that's what brought you here as well? A house of worship shouldn't be used as an internment camp, and it shouldn't be locked to the public either. Interesting. I've never seen anything quite like it. I find it intriguing and a bit disturbing. But we aren't here to discuss curios. Strange creatures notwithstanding, we need to find out what's happening with the missing newcomers. The sentry doesn't appear to have stopped you, so I could ask you the same question. Let's just agree that we both have our methods. Curious, but I feel that there's more going on in Summery than the usual politics and community relations. That's the question, my cautious friend. We have a newly appointed Aldark and a disgruntled kin lady, both opposed to the Queen's decree. What's their connection to the missing newcomers? I was about to explore the Undercroft. Care to join me? A curious pearl. I wonder where the Aldark acquired it. Probably not important. I'll meet you in the Undercroft, and we can see what's going on with the newcomers.
I'm guessing there's one on the other side. Yeah. Okay. Do I kill them?
Did someone tell you?
The question is, can I kill both of these monks? Oh no, that was another player. Nice. Into the Undercroft we go.
Something's wrong down here. I sense magic. Vile magic. Cages? These people did nothing to deserve such treatment. There's someone alive over there. See if you can help her.
Thank the Divines! You aren't one of the monks. Please, let me out of here. It's a nightmare. We came to Somerset to seek new opportunities. We barely stepped off the ship when they marched us to the monastery. Instead of questioning us or the usual high elf bureaucracy, they locked us in these cages.
Just gonna take a screenshot of this so I can post it later.
The monks gathered them a few moments ago and took them through the door on the far side of the chamber. Please, let me out of here before they take me away like the others.
Is that a Scoffin?
Oh, thank you for setting me free.
A Daedra. Here? And that's a Scoffin, if I remember my Daedric recitations correctly. Very curious. An excellent question, and one I hope to find the answer to. From the evidence before us, it appears this Nord killed the Scoffin before he succumbed to his own wounds. Good for him. I found this key on the creature's belt, so we can open that door. Then I suggest we pick up the pace. We need to determine what's actually happening down here, and who's behind all this. Without answers to those questions, we won't be able to decide on our best course of action. I'll explain everything later. For now, we need to hurry.
More newcomers? Unfortunately, the magic only affects those who have been prepared. But never fear. Your turn will come.
I'll deal with the pearl. You hold off these creatures. The pearl's magic attracts these creatures. Hold them off while I complete my spell. inside. Those poor people. This wasn't just about newcomers and opposing the Queen's decree. That was Daedric magic back there. I just wish we had arrived a few moments earlier. I promised to explain what I know. I suppose that now's as good a time as any. I'm a member of the Psijic Order. Our Rite Master sent me to investigate a warning we received about a plot involving Somerset. My inquiries led me here. The Psijic Order is an ancient magical monastic society. We served as advisors to the rulers of Tamriel, but that was before we removed our island home from the world. Now this threat has drawn us back. But why are you involved in all this? An Eye of the Queen? Interesting. I diffused the Daedric magic and transported the pearl to Artaeum, the Psijic island, for safekeeping and study, so we can learn more about it. But we can discuss this further once we get out of here.
Yeah, by the way, if it wasn't clear, enemies respawn in a lot of areas, as you'd expect in this kind of game, but maybe not in an Elder Scrolls game. At least not in the same way.